So the Black Ops 6 beta just dropped and you're wondering, what are the best controller and graphics settings? I got you covered here in this video. Today I'm going to be going over all the controller and graphics settings here on PC. So go ahead and just follow along with everything that I'm doing. And you guys aren't going to want to miss a second of the video, man. I'm going to be giving you guys some secret sauce that'll help you win some more gunfights in the game. Alright, we're going to be starting off here with the controller settings. I do not play on keyboard and mouse, so I honestly do not know what would be best for that side. We're only doing controller here. So starting off with the controller settings, I play on default. I don't play on tactical or anything like that. And you can actually go ahead and change some of the button mapping here in the settings if you guys like to. I don't mess with this, but if you play tactical or something like that, maybe go ahead and change your B to the right stick or something like that. And then going over to sensitivity, I play on 6.6. I feel like this is the best sensitivity, at least for me. If you guys are maybe coming in from another game, maybe I would go 5.5 until maybe you're used to it. Then maybe go 6.6, 7.7, 8.8, whatever. Sensitivity is really just based on preference at the end of the day. But I will say that most professional players and just competitive Call of Duty people in general play on 6.6. Alright, and then for simplified controls, low motor strain and bumper ping, I have these turned off. Maybe if you are newer to COD, especially if you're not really a movement person, maybe go ahead and turn simplified controls on and test it out. I have never really tested it and I don't really plan to. Low motor strain I've never tested out either. But yeah, maybe if you're new to COD, I would go ahead and experiment with these for sure. And then this bumper ping, yeah, go ahead and leave that off. Most likely you guys are playing default, and yeah, as you guys can read the description, applies the bumper ping to the current button layout, which inverts tactical and button ping buttons. Yeah, I don't even know what that is, honestly. For controller vibration, I usually like this off in most video games I play. But you guys can see here, if you turn it on, you can increase or decrease the intensity of it. So maybe you can have it on like 10 or something like that if you like it, just feeling it a little bit. And then this is where we get to the secret sauce part of the video, man. Your dead zones are really important. I feel like a lot of people really kind of brush aside, dead zones. They don't really change them when they start playing a game. They kind of just leave it default, and you do not want to do that here, especially in COD, because your dead zones do actually affect how much aim assist pull you're getting, as well as just how easy it is just to kill people, and aim in general. All right, then opening up the settings here, the dead zone settings here. So you guys, if you'd like, you can test your dead zones in real time. You can see if you have any stick drift or not. If you turn this on and your stick starts moving in any direction, definitely go ahead and turn up these two right here, left stick minimum and right stick minimum. If you guys are like me and don't really have any stick drift, maybe you just got a new controller, go ahead and turn the left stick min to 0 and the right stick min to 4. Don't do 1, 2, or 3, do 4. Trust me, guys, 4 is what you want it on, dude. If you start, obviously if you experience stick drift, I would go ahead and turn this up, but try to turn it up to as little as possible, because it actually really does affect your right stick aiming. All right, then taking a look at the left stick and right stick maxes here, you guys can go ahead and experiment with this if you want, but I keep mine on 60. I've kept mine on 60 for the last few Call of Duty titles, actually, and the reason for this is because you actually get more aim assist pull with this turned down, and 60 is like the optimal place for it. You don't want to go too low with it. Maybe if you want to experiment, definitely go ahead and do that. And you don't want to really go higher with it either. You don't want to be on like 80 or 70. I've kind of really tested this out over the years, and 60 is where you want to be. And most people actually have this setting at 99 here. I'm going to turn this up. And if maybe you turn yours down to 60 and maybe you're whiffing, you're shooting all over the place, go ahead and turn that back up to 99. Don't turn it to 97, 98, or even 100. Keep it at 99. And yeah, it's basically that's what you want to do here for the right stick. Don't turn it to 60 like the left stick. Go ahead and keep it at 99. I was talking about how the left stick min being 60 gives you more aim assist pull. Why wouldn't it give you more aim assist pull on the right stick? Because that's what you use to aim, of course. But I don't know, for whatever reason. But guys, just trust me, you're not going to want to change these settings right here. Keep it on 0, 64, 99. And then this is important as well. Go ahead and keep your left and right trigger dead zones to 0. A lot of people will buy like a scuff controller with the smart triggers is what they're called. And basically it makes it to where instead of having to press down the button all the way for it to start shooting, you only have to click it and, it starts shooting, aiming, whatever. But if you guys have this at 0 and you're using like a regular Xbox or PlayStation controller, you know, it basically works the same, you know, if you guys had those smart triggers or trigger stop, whatever you want to call it. All right, and that was a lot talking about the dead zone, so let's go ahead and move over to the aiming. And this is really important too because it's kind of a hidden setting. And you know, maybe you guys are like me and you're like, man, where the heck is my dynamic aim assist at? I don't see the setting. It's right here under aim advanced settings. And yeah, you're just going to want to go ahead and turn it to dynamic. I recommend using dynamic. I feel like dynamic definitely gives you the most aim assist. You know, linear and standard aren't bad as well. You know, it really just depends on what type of player you are, you know, what sensitivity you guys play on. You know, if you guys do play on a super high sensitivity, you know, maybe try out linear, but overall, you know, I would go ahead and use dynamic. All right, guys, after some further research and play testing, it actually turns out that Treyarch nerfed the dynamic aim assist setting. It still is viable to use. It's not like bad or anything, but you do lose aim assist really close up. So for most people, I would actually recommend standard, and that's what I've been using now recently. All right, and then moving over to the movement settings here, mine are maybe a little different from what you guys have. You know, for the mantle assist, go ahead and just turn this all off. I hate auto mantling. You know, I kind of skipped over this one, sprint assist. Taking a look at sprint assist, I actually don't use auto tac sprint. This is where you would find the setting. If you guys were looking for the tactical sprint assist setting, it's right here. I actually play with it off. I don't really like tactical sprint, but what you do to turn it on and use it to its fullest potential, man, you want to go ahead, click tactical sprint assist, press X on it, and then by default, I think this is at like some number, you want to put it to 0, and you guys want to leave these on sprint assist sideways and sprint assist backward. Yeah, and then I have my crouch assist you know, turned off as well. Tactical sprint only, you know, you guys can go ahead and experiment with this. I'm not, honestly, I don't really mess with all this. If you guys are experienced Call of Duty players, you know, I would recommend, you know, just having all these settings off. All right, moving on to movement behaviors, go ahead and turn automatic airborne mantle off. I actually had this on for some reason, but basically, let's say you're in a scenario where you're falling from a great height, you know, and then there's like a barrel next to where your landing spot would be. You know, having this setting on would make it to where you would mantle on that barrel or whatever it is. And then partial basically does the same thing as well. You can read it on the side here. You know, maybe pause the video if you really need to or something like that. But yeah, I leave this off. Like I was saying, I don't really like any of the auto mantle stuff. And this is where stuff gets kind of interesting here with the slide dive behavior. You know, for most people, I would actually recommend tap to slide. But, you know, I think this is the probably second best option here, the hybrid. What it is, it's a little confusing to describe, but, you know, usually when you dive, all you have to do is hold B, and then when you slide, you just tap B. But with the hybrid setting on, it makes it to where all you have to do to dive is you hold the left stick down like you're sprinting, and then you just tap B and your character will dive. You know, and I prefer the hybrid setting over the tap to slide setting, just because I feel like I can dive a little faster. Also, this was a setting in Modern Warfare 3, you know, last year's game that I pretty much used the whole year when it got introduced. Opening up movement advanced settings here, I went ahead and just left everything default. But yeah, pause the video if you guys need to copy all of these down. And then before I back out of this, plunging underwater settings, you're gonna wanna leave this on trigger. Now, when you have it on free and you jump into the water, you know, it does feel a little weird. It feels like, man, I'm kind of stuck in here. So definitely leave it on trigger. But, you know, as the year goes on, you know, this might change. All right, and then vehicle advanced settings, this doesn't matter because, you know, we're not playing Warzone yet. All right, moving over to the last section here of the controller settings, go ahead and just leave this all on default. You know, that's what I have it on right here. Yeah, and then you can open up the combat advanced settings. I just left this all on default. I don't really see a need to change anything here. And then under overlay behaviors, make sure you guys keep this on toggle to use the minimap. Right, and then finally we're going over into the graphics settings part of the video, and pretty much all these settings are pretty important. I have, as you guys can see, a 2060 NVIDIA graphics card, so you know, I don't have anything too crazy. And then yeah, the max that I can go is 144 frames. You know, probably that's the same thing for a lot of you guys. For display mode, go ahead and leave this on full screen exclusive. Do not go full screen borderless. Do not go full screen extended windows. Don't play Windows mode at all. When you're playing full screen exclusive, you can read it to the right here. It says the whole monitor space is used and the mouse cursor is constrained to the space. And that pretty much means the game will run smoother on full screen exclusive than borderless. Make sure you're doing exclusive for sure. And then for all this, you know, it kind of just depends on, you know, whatever PC you guys have. For this, do not just go ahead and press this button right here, restart shaders preloading. If you guys are having issues in the game with, your frame rate, or, you're having packet bursts, stuff like that, definitely go ahead and restart the shaders preloading. That's when you're supposed to use it. And then for display gamma, go ahead and just leave it on whatever default it is. I have it on 2.2. For brightness, yeah, I actually recommend turning this up a little bit. By default, it's 50, and you can't really see that Call of Duty logo in the middle, but at 55, at 60, you definitely can. And I actually recommend playing on, we'll go ahead and turn up my brightness here a little bit. I recommend playing on 60 brightness. This is pretty much what I do on every Call of Duty. In this game, there actually are a lot of like dark corners, dark areas where you might not see a person at first. But turn your brightness up just 10 notches and you should be all set. And this setting is actually really, really important. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. I keep it on plus boost because I've honestly been having packet burst issues in the game. But if your game runs pretty smooth here on the PC, go ahead and just leave it on. Definitely leave it just on or on plus boost. Don't leave it off, because these games honestly don't run smoothly if you don't have a really good PC. So you're definitely going to want to keep it on or on plus boost. All right, then moving on to sustainability, you guys are going to want to keep your eco mode preset to low consumption. Basically, you guys can read it on the right here if you'd like, but it says optimize a set of settings value further to minimize the energy consumption, heating, and potential wear and tear on your device while browsing menus. And then it says this has no impact on the performance and visual quality while in gameplay. I believe this is all just in the menus. Under the sustainability tab, go ahead and leave this to custom right here, the eco mode preset. Turn VSync gameplay off and turn VSync menus off. If you guys are like me and don't have a crazy PC, I definitely recommend leaving VSync off. VSync is really annoying. What it does, it basically reduces your frames in game when you're playing, so that your game can maybe run smoother. So yeah, just go ahead and leave these settings off. And then for the frame rate, I leave mine on custom. I like to cap my frames. I found that leaving it on unlimited kind of gives me more packet bursts and stuff like that, so I like to cap my frame. And then you guys can see when I'm on the menus, I leave mine on like 60. Some of you guys might have yours up to like 120 or something like that. Go ahead and just lower it just for your PC's sake. All right, and then you guys can pause the video, if you want, but these last few settings here don't really matter too much. But by default, the settings on maximal, go ahead and just switch it over to native, just for, like I was saying, your PC's sake, man. This last setting here, high dynamic range, go ahead and just leave this off. I believe it's already off by default. All right, guys, and then moving over to the quality section here, go ahead and make sure your render resolution here is at 1920 by 1080. That's probably what most of you guys are playing on, but just make sure that it is on 100. If it's on 100, that'll be whatever resolution your PC, is set at already. All right, and then moving over to the quality section of graphic settings. And then these two settings right here are really just going to depend on your PC and monitor. So yeah, mine's just at 1920 by 1080 because, that's all that I can handle. And then I keep this setting off, dynamic resolution, but if you guys are having issues in game with your frame rate, definitely turn it on and turn it to whatever your PC can max out at. And then just reading what dynamic resolution even is, it says dynamic adjustment of the rendering resolution to maintain the targeted frame rate. So like I was saying, turn it on and turn it up if you guys are having issues in game with the frame rate. And this is probably the most important setting here. You're gonna want to turn it to fidelity cast. You guys can see all these different settings here. Really they pale in comparison to fidelity cast. This has actually been a setting you guys probably know for the last few years, and probably it is the best one. So what you're going to want to do is turn it to fidelity cast and then press X and turn it all the way up to 100. And this setting is actually on console as well. You're going to want to definitely turn it to fidelity cast and turn it up to 100. It actually also sharpens the image of the game, so you can see people better. The game just looks better in general. And yeah, you're definitely going to want to turn fidelity cast on. You're not going to want to use DLSS, NVIDIA DLAA, imaging scaling, none of that. If you guys do have a really low-end PC and you can't handle any of these settings right here, you find yourself skipping all the time, just go ahead and turn it off. For my VRAM scale target, this is what it was on default. Most people turn it to 90, but I keep mine on 85 because my PC really isn't the best. And visible rate shading, yeah, you're going to want to make sure you turn that off because, yeah, your PC might not be able to handle it. And then for the details and texture, I pretty much keep everything on very low or off. You guys can pause the video or something, if you need to. But really, Like, you could probably turn on bullet impacts, you know, if you want to, and it really want to have an effect on your performance. But honestly, I keep these very low and off, you know, not just because I don't have the greatest PC, you know, also because, you know, I want the best performance in game, you know. And when you have these all set very high or normal or something like that, you know, your frame rate will get worse, and, you know, you'll just notice that you're just skipping around everywhere. All right, and you guys see this one right here. This setting used to be something that was optional, something that you could turn off. You know, recently in Modern Warfare 3 and for the Black Ops 6 beta, you know, you have to either keep this on minimal or optimize. I recommend keeping it on minimal. And honestly, I'm not too sure like what it really does or what it means. You guys can read the description. But basically, in the previous CODs, when you turned it off, it would just totally improve, you know, your game's performance. But I actually do believe that this was added in order to reduce the file size of the actual games, which, you know, I can respect and, you know, understand. But yeah, go ahead and turn it to minimal and then just leave it on default. All right, and then finally moving on to the last section here of the graphic settings, the view. Go ahead and just turn off motion reduction. You guys can read it right here. It says sets most of our motion access, and then you guys can read what it does right here. It says sets most of our motion accessibility settings to the recommended values to minimize the effect of motion sickness. Which, you know, might not really be a bad idea to just turn this on, you know, and then maybe just turn up your FOV a little bit. But yeah, I keep this off and then I just do everything in the settings here manually. For the field of view, guys, this is some secret sauce right here. You know, probably a lot of you guys have your FOV settings up to 120 all the way, but I'm telling you, you guys do not want to do this. You know, the reason that you want to keep it on, you know, 99 is what I have it on. Because when you actually have it on, you know, more than 100, you know, you actually do lose some aim assist. You know, the enemies will appear further away, you know, making them a little harder to hit on your screen. The max that I would go here is 103 or maybe like 105. But yeah, definitely don't go over that, as you're going to lose a lot of aim assist, you know, and you probably won't do as good if you just had it just below on 99, 98, 97. And, you know, a lot of people also have it on 100, but I keep mine on 99 just in case, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's some secret special sauce you're not going to get nowhere else, guys. And then for the ADS field of view, you're going to want to keep it on affected. If you guys do have it on independent, when you aim in, you will actually, you know, it says it right here. You know, it is kind of a preference thing, affected or independent. But if you guys do have it on independent and you aim in, you know, with your gun, your FOV when you aim in will be like as though you had your FOV on 80, if that makes any sense. And then if you have it on affected, it scales with whatever field of view you have it on. All right, and then moving over to the camera settings, and this will be our last part of the video, man. You're gonna want to go ahead and turn all these motion blur settings off. They're really annoying. I personally just hate motion blur, but you know, if you guys like it, go ahead and turn it off, but I recommend leaving it off. And then this setting right here is actually really important too. First person camera movement, by default, you know, you guys can see it's on 100, which is really bad. Put it on 50 and you guys can read over here. It says select the level of camera shake movement when playing in first person. So you're definitely going to want to keep it on 50%. You know, if you're on 100, you know, your screen's just going to shake too much, you know, you're going to miss shots, and, you know, you're just going to get a big headache. Speaking of headaches, you know, this is an optional setting for you guys, you know, if you want to turn it on or off. I have it off because I don't really care too much. But what it does is basically like if you get flashed, you know, instead of your screen just going all white and stuff, you know, it goes black. And a lot of people like that. You know, we got like nighttime, you know, on our Instagram and stuff now. You know, it's kind of like the same type of thing. So, you know what, I'll go ahead and turn it on. I'll try it out for a little bit. But I'm actually going to go ahead and show you guys just one more thing, just my in-game volume settings. The only thing I changed is I like the headphones, but you know, if you want to hear footsteps and stuff to the max, go ahead and put it on headphones bass boost. You know, I would not put it on cinema, home theater, soundbar, or PC speaker. Definitely leave it on headphones or headphones boost, unless you know, you don't play with a headphones and you play with literal speakers. But yeah, I just keep this all on default. You know, obviously I turned on my master volume a little bit. You know, this number really doesn't mean anything. And then for the voice chat settings, you know, I keep this all on default as well. I do not, you know, mess with anything. You know, I have not really messed with anything. You know, by default, the settings on push to talk. You know, maybe you guys want to do an open mic and you can't find the setting. You know, here it is. And then the push to talk by default is Z actually. But that's going to go ahead and do it for today's video. You know, we just ran through all of the controller and graphic settings. Yeah, it took me about almost an hour to record, honestly. I don't know why it took me so long. But if you guys did enjoy or found this helpful, please like and subscribe, man. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you guys are having any in-game issues, definitely go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll try to resolve your issue. But like I was saying, man, that does it for the video, man. I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.